Hello and welcome to another episode of Worlds Collide. I'm Justin.
And I'm Mitch.
And today we are bringing you a part 2 for a very special character from the DC universe.
One of my favorite characters from DC.
Yep. Huge addition to the Justice League.
Yeah. The Flash.
The Flash, Wally West.
Yes.
So now, this isn't the first Flash.
No. If you want to check out our first episode of Flash, you can actually check it out on YouTube.
And even that Flash isn't the first Flash, but it was the first episode that we did.
Yeah, our first episode. Yes.
In regards to the Flashes.
That's right.
Because there's a legacy of them now.
Yeah. So when we first did the Flash, we decided that there's too much history and there's just too much to cover in one episode. So we figured our first episode we would cover Barry Allen, the second Flash, but technically first Flash. He was the one who ushered in the Silver Age of comics, and then we decided that Wally West is going to be for the second episode.
Yeah, now Flash is a very old character. He's been around since 1940s, if not earlier, I believe.
Yep, since 1940s as Jay Garrick.
Right, now, being that he's one of those old characters, they've obviously had some rewrites to him, and one of the big ones was creating Barry.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. So, just a quick little recap. Originally, there was Jay Garrick as a Flash. He was a member of the Justice Society of America. This was in the early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, and this is during World War II. But after World War II, people were sick and tired of like good versus evil and whatnot. So superhero comic books, took a dive in popularity. They pretty much all disappeared and got replaced by sci-fi comics. But then in 1952, I think it was, is when DC decided to bring back the age of superheroes with the Flash. But instead of bringing back Jay Garrick, they brought back Barry Allen. Or what they created Barry Allen as the Flash. He used so in his world, when he first got in, there was no other superheroes, essentially. And then
For Barry.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So in the DC continuity, Barry was the first superhero, essentially.
Wow.
Essentially.
Holy crap, now that's huge.
Yeah.
You just set the bar really high.
Yeah.
Now, what happened to Jay? Remind us, and the viewers.
So, Jay Garrick ended up getting retconned to be part of Earth 2.
Right. And that was essentially the Silver Age coming to be when we found out about the multiverse.
That's right.
And they condensed Earth 2 to essentially just be Earth 1.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so Jay just got off to the side.
Yeah. Sort of, yeah.
And was replaced by Barry.
That's right. That's right.
He became the new Flash.
That's right. So
as the universes merged.
Yeah. So yeah, in the what people consider the golden age of comics was was the late 30s, early 40s of comics, and then the Silver Age of comics started when Flash issue number 1 in 1952, when Barry Allen got his introduction. He was the start of the Silver Age of comics.
Wicked.
That's why he's so important.
Now, do you have that comic?
I do not.
Oh, that'd be a good one to have.
That'd be a very valuable one.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. We'll have to do a run-through of your comics one day and see what prize picks you got there.
Well, my most prized pick is my Spider-Man issue number 1 by Todd McFarlane in 1991.
And he's another one of your all-time favorites.
Spider-Man is by far my favorite hero.
Yeah. Between him and Flash, Spider-Man takes the cake, hands down. But those are two different universes we're dealing with.
That's right. Even with DC, I love Flash, but I might like Green Lantern a bit more.
Which one? Hal Jordan?
Hal Jordan.
Of course.
Yeah. And
Hal Jordan comes and plays a big part in the Flash that we're dealing with today. So today, we've been talking a lot about Jay and Barry, but today's...
It was actually about Wally West.
Yes, the star of today's show is Kid Flash, Wally West.
Yes. So Wally, his first appearance wasn't until...
Much later.
Flash number 110 in 1959. So if Barry Allen got his start in 1952, Wally West got his introduction in 1959.
As Kid Flash.
Yes.
I believe it's not until 1985-ish until he becomes
the Flash. Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. So they just wanted to give the Flash a psychic, so they gave him Kid Flash, Wally West.
They were doing it with a lot of
Yeah, Green Arrow.
DC heroes in the time. Green Arrow got Speedy.
Yeah.
Batman had Robin.
Yeah, well, Batman had Robin in the Golden Age.
Of course.
And I think, pretty sure Green Arrow had Speedy in the Golden Age as well.
Well, even Aquaman didn't he get a sidekick? Who did he get? Aqualad?
Pretty sure he got Aqualad, yeah.
Like, they're giving everyone a +1.
Yeah, everybody got a sidekick.
You all get a date.
Yeah.
You all get a sidekick, a henchman.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so Wally was Barry's sidekick. Wally was his girlfriend at the time, Iris West. He was her nephew.
So that's the differentiation from
the
Flash
show.
Was it on the what network?
It's CW.
CW network.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So her estranged brother.
Yeah.
Stepbrother.
Yeah. Half brother.
Half brother.
No, it's straight brother.
Straight brother.
Yeah, full on brother.
Okay. She just never knew about him.
That's right. Yeah, even Joe didn't know about him.
He was the big secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like season 2 or 3, he gets entered into the show as, hey,
yeah,
by the way, and they're like, what?
Essentially, it's how they did it in the comics too, but he's actually her nephew. And his parents weren't good parents. They weren't fit to be parents. So he ended up going to stay with Iris West, his aunt, because she was more fit to raise him than his own parents. Now,
in the show for Flash, Joe West is a fictional, like, he's a created character for the show?
Pretty sure.
That's what I thought, okay. Because Iris is the big star.
Yes.
Obviously being Barry's significant other.
Yes.
What age, do you know, is it that Kid Flash gets introduced? Because he's a lot younger, obviously, than Barry.
Yes. So when Barry becomes a Flash, he's already an adult. When Kid Flash becomes Kid Flash, when Wally becomes Kid Flash, whenever they're drawn, he's like half the height of Barry.
I'd say 15, 16.
Maybe even younger than that. Maybe 12. Wow. Yeah, like he's young. He's really young.
Okay.
Really young. And so he is, when he first meets Barry, he finds out that Barry might know the Flash. And Barry tells him that if he goes and meets him at his lab at the CCPD, Central City Police Department, because Barry Allen is a forensic scientist for the Central City Police Department, he told Wally to meet him there and he'll get to meet the Flash, and he was all excited and whatnot. So Wally went to the lab, and by comic book logic, the exact same accident that gave Barry Allen his powers ended up happening again, giving Wally West his powers. So a lightning bolt shot into the lab, hitting those random chemicals, dousing Wally West, giving him super speed.
Lightning does strike twice.
Yeah.
Now, was it thrown by Barry or something? Like,
no.
Do we find out later that he just zings a lightning bolt to be like, yeah, I want a sidekick?
No. Although it wouldn't surprise me with the Speed Force and time traveling and whatnot. It wouldn't surprise me if you find out it was Eobard Thawne who did that.
Well, that comic just hasn't been written yet. That's 2025.
That's right.
The big reveal from 50 years ago.
That's right. Well, Eobard Thawne was responsible for the Flash, for Barry Allen becoming the Flash.
Of course. Yeah.
He's the one who arranged the events to so that Barry Allen could become the Flash. So who knows? Maybe he did the same thing for Wally West.
Yet to be written, yet to be revealed. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's kind of the mystery of comics, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was his start in 1959. When he first started off, he just had the exact same costume as the Flash. So they both wore the red costume. And then it wasn't until
he adapted to the yellow.
Yeah, it was until.
Because, even a lot of the comic book issues you're trying to find, it's like red, and it's hard to distinguish which one's him.
That's right, 1963.
Oh, wow.
So his first appearance was 59, so
4 years, sorry.
4 years later, they changed him to a yellow suit to make him more distinguishable between Flash.
Jeez, it took long enough. I wonder how confused readers would have been. Like, which one is this? And they have to go back and read like a panel and see which direction he went.
That much. I don't think readers cared that much.
It's a Flash. I don't care.
Yeah,
just get him.
Yeah, comics were just a silly thing back then, right?
I guess they would be like us reading the funnies in the comics nowadays. And just take it with a grain of salt and on you go.
Exactly.
Now they're poured over like friggin' literature.
Now, here's something interesting. So IGN ranked Wally number 8 in their top 100 superheroes of all time, above all the other Flashes, all the other speedsters.
Is it because he's faster?
Because he was more impactful. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. So when he was Kid Flash, he ends up being a founding member of the Teen Titans with Dick Grayson, with Robin, who later becomes Nightwing. We are going to do an episode on Dick Grayson. I'm actually surprised myself we haven't done that yet.
We need to.
Yes.
It'll happen soon.
Yes. But yeah, him alongside with Dick Grayson ended up becoming founding members of the Teen Titans.
Right.
Which was a team of psychics.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, all the psychics decided to band together and make a team, and they call it the Teen Titans.
Who the hell is Starfire and Raven? Who is their...
They weren't psychics. They were just magicians.
Between them and Cyborg, it's half a team of Cyborg.
That's
sidekicks.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because we got, as you said, Beast Boy.
Beast Boy's not even a psychic.
Oh, well, no, but he's part of the team.
Yep.
And then we got Robin.
Yeah.
And it's Dick Grayson, though?
Yeah.
Because there's so many.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, it was Dick Grayson and Wally West and Roy Harper.
Roy. That was the one I was blanking on.
Yeah. Those three were the real founding members of Teen Titans.
Wonder Girl, when does she join?
She joins later. Cassie?
Yeah.
She joins afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, and same with Beast Boy and Cyborg. Cyborg doesn't join until much, much later.
Like 2000s almost?
Not 2000s, maybe in the 1990s. I haven't done any research
we'll
on
have to
Cyborg.
fact check Cyborg.
Or do an episode on Cyborg.
He's an interesting character, part of the Justice League, so he's got some media. He's been in all the Titans, of course.
Yeah, well, he's been in Teen Titans, he's been in Doom Patrol, and he's been in the Justice League movies.
He's in Doom Patrol?
Yeah.
Not in the show, though.
Yeah.
Oh, right! I'm blanking on it.
Yeah.
God, he was in there.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll get to why he's so important. So let's go through his biography here. A lot of that was just going off memory, to be honest with you. So let me go back to my notes here.
Cover a little bit of his life and his personality. He's got an interesting personality.
He ended up developing an illness.
What was the illness?
So the illness made it so that his body was deteriorating the more he used its powers. It's probably because it was never really confirmed. It was just a mysterious illness, but it was most likely because of how young he was. So Barry was already an adult when the accident happened, so he could withstand all that power. But Wally, being such a young boy when he got that power, it was causing damage to him because he's still growing, he's still evolving.
Well, he's still growing and maturing with the
right.
Speed Force, so you can only imagine it's accelerating something.
Exactly. So the illness made it so that every time he was using power, the more he used his powers, the more his body deteriorated. It was killing him. His powers were killing him.
It wouldn't age him per se.
No.
Just weaken him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did he get around this?
By Crisis. So we're gonna skip ahead.
Speed Force.
So we're gonna skip ahead to 1985 because really between from 1960s to 1985, it's just random adventures of Wally West being
brash, abrasive, get to it,
sidekick. Exactly.
And
fast talking, fast to act, speedster.
Yeah, slow to think. He's not the smartest of the Flashes. He might be the fastest.
He's actually pretty smart.
He comes from a mechanical standpoint rather than a scientific standpoint in the sense that he figures out how things work, but he's not really good at using the science behind. Like, my best example of this would be Barry knows how to run on water and use tornado power with his arms and whatnot to use physics. He doesn't as well.
Well, we'll get to that.
As well.
We'll get to that in a second, actually.
All right.
So, in my research about Wally West, I found out a lot of interesting things.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think he's not as intelligent as Barry because Barry is a forensic scientist. He's, for all intents and purposes, he is a scientist.
Smart dude.
And Bart Allen is from the future, and he's the first speedster that was actually able to read at flash speeds and retain all the information that he read.
So, speaking of that, one of the things I found Wally did was, being that he's so good at the mechanical standpoint, he's able to use objects and put their speed into, like, put the Speed Force into them in the sense that he could create a computer fast enough to read to him with the Speed Force. Like, at the speed he can read, the computer will digest information.
We'll get to that as well in a bit. So, but yes, that's a fun one about him.
Yeah.
So in Crisis, this is where Barry Allen dies. When we did an episode on Crisis, that's another episode you should check out. It's our episode on Crisis on Infinite Earth. In Crisis on Infinite Earth, Barry Allen sacrifices himself, dies to save everybody. But during these events, Wally ends up getting hit by an antimatter energy, and that antimatter energy cured him of his illness.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah, I don't know how.
It just
because comics.
Comics.
Yeah,
we'll go with that one.
Yeah.
So obviously he fared well from Crisis, aside from his guide and best friend dying.
Yeah.
And then being handed down the torch that, hey, this is your task to now bear.
Yeah.
He took it fairly rough, we'll say.
Yeah, but well, he became the Flash, and to help him distinguish, because a lot of people grew up at this point here. A lot of people grew up to Barry Allen being the Flash, so they didn't want to rub those readers the wrong way. But there's a lot more readers that are currently reading comics that grew up to Wally West, because they got into comics in the 1960s, and Wally West was the psychic. So a lot of these kids got to grow up with Wally West. So Wally had a fan following already.
And then it was like his time to don the costume and step into the big guy's shoes. So it was kind of like a hero journey.
Yeah.
For a lot of readers who got to start there.
Yeah. But they had to make the distinction between the two. So Barry Allen could run at the speed of light, faster than the speed of light. Wally West could only run faster than the speed of sound, is the way that they made it. So Wally West was much slower than Barry Allen.
Really?
Yes.
Because Jay Garrick could run at the speed of sound.
Yes.
Yeah, Wally was light.
Yes.
When does Wally get faster?
We'll get to that. So when they first did this, they made Wally only able to run at the speed of sound, faster than the speed of sound, but he wasn't able to reach the top speeds that Barry was able to.
Right.
And then this kept going until the 90s, actually. Until the early 90s.
And then is this when he gets trapped in the Speed Force?
No. So, Crisis.
Hell, Wally's been the Flash almost as
long as one other thing that they had to make distinguish between the two is that Wally had to consume a lot of food to compensate for his higher metabolism.
And this is when he had the disease still?
No,
or even after?
Yeah, this is even after.
Why is his metabolism high?
Just because they were applying better science to the character, I guess. Because really, if a character is moving at that speed, he will be burning a lot more energy.
Maybe it's because he's young. He's younger still. He's more of an athlete, I guess.
Yeah.
Barry's more of a nerd.
They also got into to win the lottery.
Oh, right.
So he won the lottery, got himself a mansion, and started becoming a playboy. He started dating all these hot model chicks and whatnot.
But it didn't last long.
No.
I think his mom squandered a lot of the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, unfit parents, right?
Yep. So in 1991, he got a costume change. They updated his costume to match more of the TV series that was going on at the time.
And is this the yellow costume?
No, it's when he became the Flash, he took on the red costume.
Of course, yeah.
But in 1991, he got an update to the costume. So Barry's Flash costume had a belt with a lightning that goes across it, but Wally's had the two lightning bolts coming in the intersection, making a V at the middle, which matched more of the show. And he also got rid of the wings that he had on his boots.
Little touches.
Yeah, little touches. Oh, and also gave him opaque lenses on his cowl as well. So before he was like just it was just a hood with nothing on his eyes, but now they gave him like opaque goggles to protect his eyes.
Just more visibility.
Yeah. Easier to draw too, I'd imagine.
Probably.
Yeah. So then, Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. So he ended up coming back. So before Crisis on Infinite Earth, Barry ended up killing the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
But
accidentally.
Yes. But here's the thing with Eobard Thawne is that you never really kill him because he time travels so much that even though you think you may have killed the Reverse Flash, it's just one of his time appearances that you just killed. So the Eobard Thawne that Flash killed, that Barry killed, and the Eobard Thawne that shows up here facing Wally West are the same Eobard Thawne, just from different time periods.
Yes. Different points in the same timeline?
Well, his own timeline. Eobard Thawne's time. Different time periods. Like, he could have traveled... This could have been the Eobard Thawne that traveled 500 years into the future and then back to this point in time. So there's... Eobard Thawne traveled through time so much, there's copies of him at all points of time.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Sometimes, that's why sometimes when Flash is fighting Eobard Thawne, he's fighting like 15 different Eobard Thawnes. It's not a speed illusion. It's actually 15 different Eobard Thawnes from different time periods.
Who all met up and decided to kick his ass together.
That's right.
Jesus.
That's right.
What?
Yeah.
So, it must be so hard to write.
Oh man, it's so confusing to really grasp.
But it's like it's like you're cheating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can just write him in and out of anything.
That's right.
And we kill him, and he's back next issue.
That's right.
How?
Because time science. But yeah, so Eobard Thawne ended up facing Wally West. And Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, he decided since since Barry is dead, he's going to take Barry's place as the Flash. Because he's faster than Wally. Because he's faster than Wally, he'll be the new Flash. He'll be Barry. And since Eobard Thawne had gotten plastic surgery to make himself look like Barry.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
what a tryhard.
Yeah, well, it's because of that tryhard. So it was in this story is when you find out that the reason why Wally was so much slower than Barry is because he didn't want to overshadow Barry. So he subconsciously limited his own powers in fear of surpassing Barry. But when Eobard Thawne was threatening to take Barry's place, he feared more of Eobard Thawne becoming the new Barry than himself surpassing Barry. So it allowed him to break those barriers.
Get rid of the mental block.
That's right. And now all of a sudden Wally West went from being only able to go faster than the speed of sound to actually being faster than Barry ever has been.
And zoom.
Yes. So that's the one thing. So if anybody watching right now grew up watching Justice League or Justice League Unlimited or Young Justice, especially in Young Justice, they really alluded to Wally West being the slower than Barry, slower than Bart. But in actuality, he's actually faster. He's the fastest of all of them. So when you were saying about how he can't apply science to his powers as well as Barry can, not true.
Ooh.
Because Wally was the one... So the idea of the Speed Force was not introduced until in the late 90s.
What was it before that?
They just had super speed. The concept...
We knew Jay was a meta.
What's that?
We knew Jay was a meta human, a mutant.
Yes. A meta. Yeah.
A meta human.
Yeah.
And he just had super speed.
Yes.
But Barry's, the idea of his speed force isn't introduced until the 90s?
Well, no, they just thought their powers came from that accident. That freak accident changed their molecular structure that gave them that super speed, is what they figured.
So they just never revealed what it was until the 90s.
That's right. So the concept of Speed Force wasn't introduced until the 90s. So that means Barry Allen never got to play around with the Speed Force.
No.
Wally West got to play around with the Speed Force. Wally West got to experiment with the Speed Force. Wally West was the one who is able to figure out. So here's some of the things that Wally West can do. Wally West could absorb the speed from other people.
Yes.
He could share his super speed to other people. like you said, he could transfer his super speed to objects. He's the one who figured out how to do the infinite mass punch, to use kinetic energy to enhance his attacks. Wally was one who figured that one out.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me go to powers here. Absorb speed, share speed. He has a fast metabolism, so he heals faster than others. He could even transfer his healing powers onto others. He even develops a costume out of the Speed Force.
Yeah, I believe it's to mend his broken legs or help strengthen or stabilize them at some point.
Yeah.
He literally just it's costume. He created like a brace.
Well, no, I mean like his Flash costume
is made of Speed Force.
Yes. I don't understand that. But yeah, he uses the Speed Force to create.
Wove it from strands of Speed Force.
That's right. It was Wally West who outran instant teleportation. No,
And
Barry
death.
Allen outran death.
I believe it was Wally.
No, it was Barry. So when Barry came back during Flash Rebirth, so when Barry died in Infinite Crisis, he was actually stuck in the Speed Force. And when you see him come back during Identity Crisis, and then more fleshed out in Flash Rebirth, you see Barry running out of the Speed Force being chased by Death.
Is it Black Flash I'm talking about then,
Yes.
maybe?
Well, yeah, he's being chased by Black Flash, by the Speed Wraith.
Yeah. Okay, I thought it was Wally because he runs to the end of time to outrun it.
Yeah,
that was
that
Barry?
was Barry. That was Barry. So Wally like I said, Wally was the one who outran instant teleportation.
How did he do that one? Was that when he was on the other planet?
Yeah, he was on another planet, and he ended up getting all the people on Earth to
lend him
their speed, and he absorbed all of their speed, kind of like Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb kind of idea.
Basically,
yeah,
he spirit bombed. He had everyone on Earth run at once and give them
all that kinetic power, all that speed. Yeah, comics are weird.
And he ran faster than instant teleportation.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. So when
it's for a bet, right?
Yes.
Like to save humanity.
Yes.
If you don't beat me in this race, your Earth is destroyed.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good.
So when I first started reading comics, I started reading comics in the early 90s. I was, I think I might have been 13 or 14 when I first started reading comics. When I really got into comics. Yep. Maybe 12. I'm pretty sure not 12.
Pretty young age, huh?
That's pretty old. Pretty young. So 90s.
Were you in high school yet?
See, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure I was, which means I would have been 14.
13 maybe.
13, yeah. 13 or 14. So 93, 94 was when I first got into comics. So that means when I got into comics, also, the reason I became a Flash fan was because of the TV show.
Right.
Which was in the early 90s.
It probably was just getting popular at that time, right?
So to me, the Flash that I was reading was Wally West. I really didn't know who Barry Allen was.
And who was the Flash on TV, though?
Pretty sure that was Barry Allen.
That's what I thought.
That's the only introduction I had to Barry Allen was the show. But in the comics, it's Wally West.
Right.
In the Justice League cartoon, it's Wally West. So
he's who you got used to.
That's right. Most readers nowadays, anybody who was born before the year 2000 will know Wally West is the Flash. So, because Barry Allen was dead from 1985 all the way up until 2009.
Which is funny because when I kind of got into it, it was Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Because in 2009 he came back.
Well, also because I think my dad's old comics, he had all Silver Age.
Oh, and yeah, that was Barry. Yeah.
So that would do it. It was kind of like I missed this whole Wally segment. So then when I saw him, once I got introduced to Barry, I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he was the main one.
Yeah.
But I got it twisted.
Yeah.
Just so it's funny how people get introduced at different points in time, and it totally skews their perspective on what's canon.
Yeah.
What's mainstream? Who is supposed to be in it now versus that this guy's old news.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of funny when you think about it.
A big difference between the personalities is he's more of an intellectual and he thinks more before he acts, and he's not as goofy, whereas Wally is goofier, he is funnier,
childish,
brash, and he is younger at heart and in mind.
I'd say Barry's more of a Boy Scout.
Yes,
more of a do-gooder.
Yes, which is why during the Blackest Night series, Barry became the Blue Lantern.
Of course, Lantern of Hope.
Yeah.
Now that's not to say Wally's not a hopeful guy.
No.
He is determined.
Yes.
Very determined individual.
Okay, so let's go back to here.
What does that bring us to?
Brings us to so in the 90s, Mark Waid was the one who introduced the concept of the Speed Force. That was in the 90s. He also ended up joining the Justice League in the 90s as well.
Wally.
Yes.
Who's Max Mercury, by the way?
So there's a lot of other speedsters. There's Max Mercury. There's Jesse Quick. There's
Inertia.
Yeah, there's a lot of other speedsters. I don't know a lot about them. I don't have to put in.
Max is just one of them, though.
Just one of them, yeah.
Now Inertia, I believe, Wally put in a museum, and he stole her speed. He put her so slow that it took 100 years for her to blink. Because she killed Bart Allen, I believe.
Oh. I know Bart dies.
Bart dies, so it was by Inertia. So Inertia killed Bart, I believe, with the Rogues Gallery, because they basically kind of went into hiding. Or not so much hiding. Wally and the Rogues, they had kind of an unwritten law of, I'll just leave you alone as long as you don't do nothing too bad. If you do, then I'll intervene. Whereas Barry, they were constantly after Barry. With Wally, not so much. Well, with Bart, one day he didn't have his powers, I think. And so Inertia got the Rogues out to gang up on Bart. And, they ganged up on him and beat him to death, I believe. And as a result of it, Wally stole Inertia's powers and made her so slow that it took 100 years to blink and put her in the museum staring at a statue of Bart Allen.
And here's a funny thing about that. So when they did that, it's because they were trying to phase out Wally as the Flash. They wanted to make Bart as the new Flash. So they made some kind of event where all the speedsters were stuck in an alternate dimension or whatever. And Bart was the only speedster left standing. He was the only one still alive, able to tap into the Speed Force. But there was a lot of backlash to it. The fans loved Wally West too much and didn't care as much for Bart.
They just didn't want the transition to happen.
Exactly. So they brought Wally West back and killed off Bart. Which is a shame. I like Bart Allen quite a bit, actually.
Well, he's the smartest of them, I believe.
Yes. He's from the future.
Is he the fastest, though?
Well, sort of. So we'll get to that. There's this one video this guy put in talking about who's the fastest between the Flashes. All the Flashes, yeah. And even in his video here, he describes how, without a question, Wally West is the fastest.
Okay.
Wally West has done the biggest feats of speed, of qualifiable speed.
He's holding the big ticket.
That's right. But Barry and Bart both are the only two to have ever absorbed the Speed Force in its entirety onto themselves.
Oh.
So Barry and Bart at one point were faster than Wally West because they had all the Speed Force mainlined into them.
Is that cheating?
Sort of, yeah. And
it's like using their Velocity X.
Pretty much.
Which Bart uses, I thought.
I don't know. I haven't done much research on Bart. I'm going to have to look it up.
One of the speedsters, I believe, might be a female, only runs off velocity, I believe.
I think that's Jesse Quick.
That might be Jesse Quick.
Yeah. But then after he explained all this, there's actually one other that's actually faster than Bart, Barry, and Wally. This is unequivocally the fastest, and it's the granddaughter of, I forgot her name. I didn't write it down. But it's the granddaughter of Wally West.
Oh.
And, yeah, and she is actually pretty much the Speed Force sentient. She is living Speed Force. Like, if you look her up, she doesn't even look human. She looks like pure energy.
Is she human?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, she is Wally West's granddaughter.
I wonder if she can transition phase.
Nora West?
No, not Nora West.
No, because we met Nora. That's Barry and Iris's daughter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe it's not his granddaughter. It's if you Google a list of all the different Flashes, she'll be like from the year 20 whatever. Like she's like from the
it's Nora West Allen.
From the distant future.
That's the one that we saw in the Flash show. Did you keep up with the Flash show?
Yeah, and they never depicted her like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Only when she died.
Yeah. But in the show, they made her being Barry right. And Iris's kid. But this one is
definitely
Wally's, yeah.
Oh.
Now, Wally does end up marrying a woman named Linda Park, and they do end up having twins.
Yes. Now he married her. There's a bunch of different timelines, are there not? Where like she's died a bunch.
Sort of. We'll get to that when we go over New 52 and Rebirth.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he had twins with his wife Linda, and the kids' names are Jay and Iris.
Iris.
Yes.
And they have powers as well.
Yeah, they were born with the Speed Force.
Yeah, now I believe Jay can increase his muscle mass, and Iris, I forget what she can do.
Iris is just a speedster.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be one that looks nothing but energy. She they obviously do not look human.
Selma Allen?
That's it. Yeah, that's the one.
The Flash from the 23rd century.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Selma.
Allen.
So Allen, she's
Sella
Allen. So she is a relative of Barry Allen, not Wally West. But she's from the 23rd century, and like I said, she is living Speed Force. She is
Speed God.
Yeah, like she is the embodiment of the Speed Force. She's faster than all the other Flashes ever has and ever was. One cool thing about how the Flash powers works is that how the Speed Force works is the Speed Force works beyond time and space, which means that no matter what universe you want to put the Flash in, if you want to take him out of DC and put him up against other speedsters from an anime or some other comic book series or whatever, the Flash will always be the fastest in whatever universe he's in.
Why?
Because of the Speed Force. Because the Speed Force is what gives speedsters their speed, and Wally and Barry
can tap it.
Mainline it. Like, Barry, the more he runs, the bigger the Speed Force gets. Barry is pretty much the beginning and end of the Speed Force.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's what she looks like.
She looks like a female Human Torch with lightning around her.
Yeah.
It's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. I don't know anything about her. I just found out about her from watching that one video.
Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah.
A little sneak peek and then, hey, who's that?
Yeah. So, in 2001, Wally got his own arch nemesis called Hunter Zolomon, which he made an appearance in the TV series. Hunter Zolomon was Zoom. He also was known as the Reverse Flash as well. There's been multiple Reverse Flashes.
He was one of Wally's friends, I believe. And then he asked Wally for help. with something regarding saving his wife, and Wally said, no, I can't help you. Well, he went and tapped into the Speed Force anyways, and became soon.
Sort of. So how does Zolan's powers works differently than the Speedsters?
Speed Force.
Not even.
What is this?
He's not even speed at all.
What?
Yeah. He is time displaced. So he moves through time differently than other people. So it's not that he's running super fast. He's just traveling through time in a way that simulates super speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very confusing.
Very confusing. To me, it sounds like Doctor Who mumbo jumbo.
Some hooey.
Yeah.
Some fucking hooey there.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see the science behind that.
Yeah, on that one show you watch.
Yeah. But because science.
Because science.
Yeah.
So prove this one.
Yeah. But, so, during this battle, so here's something else I didn't know, is that ever since Crisis on Infinite Earth, ever since Barry's death, Wally's identity was known. It was public knowledge that Wally West was the Flash.
He used it. He used it to get celebrity, a little bit of fame,
Yeah.
kind of influence certain scenarios.
I mean, he probably also used it as Playboy lifestyle for a bit.
Yeah.
Of course.
But, so during his fight against Hunter Zolomon, though, I don't know exactly what happened. I never read the actual story, but something happened and it forced Wally to regret the fact that everybody knows about his powers. I'm pretty sure Hunter Zolomon killed somebody that was very important.
Someone dear to him, his mother, I believe.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Or maybe that
I
was
believe
one
it was
of...
his mom. Yeah, he did the same thing to him that happened to Barry.
Yeah.
He killed his mom.
Yeah.
And so then Wally went back in time to try and fix it again.
Yeah, what he did is he made a deal with the Spectre. He got the Spectre to erase the memory of everybody
everyone who knew his identity.
That's right. Even
the entire world.
Yeah, even himself. For a little bit, he forgot that he was Flash.
I did too good a job.
Yeah, Spectre did too good of a job. And I'm pretty sure this was still, I think this is Hal Jordan Spectre.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. So let's go. So now this brings us to New 52 and Rebirth.
Alright.
So, we've talked about this many times, especially if you rewatch our episode on Barry Allen. But there was an event called Flashpoint, where Barry Allen went back in time, tried to save his mom from being killed by the Reverse Flash. It started a whole other timeline where Aquaman and Wonder Woman were at war with each other. So the Amazons and the Atlanteans were at war with each other.
Bruce they had a relationship.
Well, yeah.
That went sour. And
Yeah.
then all of Europe went to war against Atlantis.
Against Atlantis, yeah. Bruce Wayne dies instead of his parents.
Oh, fuck.
A whole bunch of shenanigans happened when Barry did this. And at the end of Flashpoint, Barry decided he needed to bring back everything the way it was. So he ran back in time to stop himself from changing the Speed Force. Turns out that for Barry to do that, he needed to absorb all the Speed Force. And he actually couldn't do that by himself. Bart actually helped him achieve the speed he needed to become fast enough to stop himself from changing the past. But anyways, so he tried to change everything back to normal, but when he came back to the present, everything seemed like they were back to normal. His mom died just like she was supposed to and whatnot. But this was the beginning of the New 52. A lot of things did change. There was a lot of rebirths. It was DC putting a new spin on a lot of characters, bring new life to a lot of comics that had died out, kind of thing. Just bring everything up to a modern time.
So when they do the reset, did they use the Flash comic line to show all the other comics resetting?
Yes.
So if you didn't read that Flash comic, you're kind of like,
what's going on?
What the fuck?
Well, because after that, they had a bunch of like Batman issue number 0, Flash issue number 0. There had a bunch of issue zeros to explain people what's going on, kind of thing.
That would be funny though, if they didn't have that.
But when the New 52 happened, there was no more Wally West. Wally West did not exist.
And it's back to Barry.
It was just Barry. There was no Wally West. Wally West never existed.
Never
existed in the New 52 continuity. So this is why a lot of fans, there was a lot of backlash to this because Wally West has a huge fan base.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of backlash to this. So they ended up introducing Wallace West. And Wallace West was the biracial, so he's half black, half white. Wally West, more akin to the CW show. Wallace West, he was more of a criminal at first. Like he was shown like doing graffiti, and he ended up helping a couple of his criminal friends in doing a bank robbery, and he ended up
getaway driver or something.
Yeah, exactly. And his dad ended up going to prison and whatnot. You find out afterwards that his dad is actually the Reverse Flash. Yeah. So Daniel West is his dad, and Daniel West is the Reverse Flash in the New 52. And he ended up going to jail and a whole bunch of stuff before he became Kid Flash. So they still made Wallace West as the Kid Flash. But the Wally West that everybody grew up to, the redhead, all that history and whatnot, gone. Erased from existence.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have we ever seen him return?
Yes, we have. So that was in the New 52. Now in now in DC Rebirth, that was the next reboot after New 52. Wally came back.
Where'd he come from?
He was trapped in the Speed Force.
It's okay. I knew at some point he got trapped in the Speed Force. I'm like, where the hell did he go?
Yeah, so he was trapped in the Speed Force. He was trying to get a hold of people, trying to get people's attention, and nobody was able to see him or hear him. Eventually, he just resolved. He's like, okay, well, I guess this is it for me. So he went to Barry and just wanted to thank Barry for the life that Barry gave him and whatnot. And then Barry heard him and touched him and pulled him out of the Speed Force.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit, okay.
Wally was the one who, while he was in the Speed Force, he's the one who observed what was going on. That when Barry went back in time to try and reverse the Flashpoint, it should have worked. Barry should have been able to bring the time back the way it was. But there was another mysterious, powerful being that prevented it from actually restarting, and it was actually responsible for the New 52. Barry wasn't responsible for New 52. Some other being was responsible for New 52.
Who was the other being?
Dr. Manhattan.
That's what I thought. We talked about this the other day
in our episode on Watchmen.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, Wally was the one who found out about it. Wally is the one who knew the truth because he was in the Speed Force.
So who does he tell? He tells
Barry. Yeah. He also tells Batman. Yeah. So really, only Barry, Wally, and Batman knew the truth about Dr. Manhattan.
Wow.
About what happened. How come there's so much time dilation? How come it seems like some people should be existing are no longer existing? Why people seem to have
only
lost...
Wally knows this.
Yeah.
Only Wally can even tell them that people aren't here who should be.
Sort of, but at first he didn't remember a lot of what's going on either. He didn't remember...
It's a very fragmented memory.
Yeah. And while he was back into the main continuity, he... a lot because nobody knows who he is. He didn't want to face Iris West, his aunt, the woman that raised him, because she doesn't know who he is. She knows who Wallace West is, but she doesn't know who Wally West is, and he didn't want to face that. But eventually, Barry got them to meet, and when they did, she started to remember who Wally West was, and when she does. It triggered something in Wally, and Wally started remembering everything about him as well. He started remembering about Teen Titans, and remembering about all his friends, and all his adventures, and he remembered everything. So all the pre-New 52, from the 2010, from 1985 to 2010, all that history came flooding back kind of thing. So,
and he's the only one that knew, though, because the timelines have been reset. Like, even Barry doesn't remember.
That's right. Well, because of Wally, some people he's starting to awaken more memories. So when that happened, Wally went back to the Teen Titans, and because they all forgotten who Wally West was. But when he goes and sees them and meets up with them, now jogged their memories, and they started to remember who Wally West was, and they started to remember the Teen Titans history, and
Wow.
Yeah,
So it just opened the door to the whole idea for everyone here that guess what? There's another universe.
That's right. So, because now there's two Kid Flash, there's two Wally West.
Well, because prior to this, between Golden Age and Silver Age, it went from what? One universe down to becoming, like, from two, we learned there's two and then one.
Well, so there was multiple universes.
Yeah.
And the Crisis on Infinite Earth got rid of all those universes and merged them all into one.
Two into one.
Yeah. And then at the end of Infinite Crisis, that was Crisis on Infinite Earth, Infinite Crisis, it brought back the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
And then New 52 happened, and then Rebirth happened, and now people are aware that there are multiple universes again.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So then this brings us to the point of Manhattan being
Responsible.
And in the main continuity.
Yeah.
And he brought Rorschach and someone else with him, comedian.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ozymandias.
Ooh, and Ozzy King, yes.
Because remember, the comedian was alive in the
Right.
New 52.
Oh, yeah, the comedian appeared alive.
That's
he didn't
right.
necessarily come with him.
That's right. Now we're getting into Doomsday Clock and whatnot. And once again, we need to, once comic book shops open up again, I would really like to get a Doomsday Clock
I
shirt.
think we'll have to. We'll have to.
Yeah.
We might even just have to order one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because I definitely want to read it.
Yeah, we should just go in on one here.
Yeah.
But at this point then, once Wally starts telling everyone
Yes.
what happened.
So I'm not too sure from that, because we're getting into Doomsday Clock at this point here, so...
Oh, so this is kind of up to current content.
Pretty much.
So at this point, we're only a few years behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good part to stop for Wally.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about his appearances in another show, so...
No.
He does have his appearance in a CW show. I forgot the name of the actor. I don't know the actor's name, but in the 90s, he was always a white guy with red hair. In the show, he's a black guy. He's a black man.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really good, too. He ends up joining the... Legends of Tomorrow as well.
Yeah, he is on DC Legends of Tomorrow, traveling around with them for a while.
Yeah.
He is their speedsters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he ends up leaving them. He ends up going to some monastery.
I was going to say, he comes and goes. He's at the point in the show where he kind of pops up.
He's kind of OP, right? I mean, like, you put in Wally West on anything, it's kind of hard to... You kind of write yourself into a corner. How do you create conflict when you got a guy who could virtually do anything he wants?
I believe the Wally that they have, though, is still the mental block Wally.
Yes.
They haven't let him break the
barrier.
barrier.
Even Barry in the show hasn't reached the speeds that he should be able to.
And it's weird because the show is spanning Golden Age, Silver Age, and Bronze Age all at once, so it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So the actor who plays Wally in the CW show is Keenan Lonsdale.
Keenan Lonsdale. Yeah. He's an okay actor. He's not...
I was going to say he's not great, but he's decent.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. If you want good Wally stories, watch all of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
Especially the Flash-focused episodes. Those are all about Wally West. So there's the one about the Flash Museum. That one's a really good episode.
Well, he's in Young Justice. He's in the Young Justice.
Well, and that was the other thing, is watch Young Justice, because that's Wally West. And the ending of season 2, don't want to get any spoilers, but Wally makes me cry. Like, that last episode, fucking ugly cry.
Yeah, it's a good one. I liked Young Justice a lot. It probably showcases him more than the...
Yes.
Was it Justice Unlimited or Justice League?
Yes. Well, because he's more of an actual permanent character, whereas Justice League... Well, Justice League is a permanent character, but Justice League Unlimited, they just brought in so many characters that the Flash wasn't a focal character.
He's a focal on Young
Yes,
Justice. Yeah, because it showcases the main team rather than the whole damn league.
That's right. And I just really like the writing in Young Justice. Just Young Justice is so well written, especially the first 2 seasons. The third season was good.
There's so much teamwork written into the stories.
Yeah,
and there's so much...
And good character development. Like, you're introducing all these characters, but they all get really good character development.
Yeah. So that brings us what year's Doomsday Clock? Because we'll have to do that as one of our next episodes, probably in about 2 months.
Doomsday Clock was 2019.
Just 19.
Wrapped up in 2019.
Okay, so then we really got to do that one because that's really, really up to our current content.
Yeah.
It was published between November 22nd, 2017 to December 18th, 2019.
All right.
Yeah.
So next up, Marvel. What do we want to do? Do we want to do another X-Men? Do we want to do a Dr. Sinister, a villain?
We could do another Spider-Man episode. We could do Miles Morales Spider-Man also.
We could do Miles Morales. Because I know they're going to do a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. So doing a Miles Morales one will be good.
There's also talk of a Spider-Gwen TV series as well.
Yeah.
Although she actually had a TV series, I think, at one point already. That's the plan.
Did we ever do the Fantastic Four?
No, we haven't. Should do the Fantastic Four.
I mean, they
probably
are pretty
should.
big
I believe they're going to do another movie.
Yeah. They definitely have to.
Oh, they're going to be integrated. That's how.
Yeah. Because Fox fumbled the ball 3 times.
Guys, come on.
3 times. 3 times you're out. Marvel's going to get it right. Disney Marvel. Yeah. Kevin Feige will get it right.
I have faith.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do Fantastic Four next week.
Probably should.
I mean, we've referenced them before, so.
And they are.
Them or Captain America.
Yeah.
Have we done Cap?
We haven't done Cap. We also haven't done Iron Man.
We'll pick it. Let's leave it at the 2. Cap or the Family of 4.
Yeah.
And then the following week, DC.
Should we try jumping into Dick Grayson? Or
I was
give
gonna
him
say.
more time?
We could do Dick Grayson.
Let's do Dick in 2 weeks.
I'm a big fan of him, so I'm not going to hesitate on that.
Nightwing.
Yes.
Robin / Nightwing.
Yes.
Yeah, because that'll be a good one, because that'll be a lot of content, filling that character.
Through his years as Robin, and then Nightwing, leader of the Teen Titans. And
2 weeks after that, I don't want to do Red Hood, though.
Alright.
So I don't know enough about him.
Alright.
And
there's not that much on him.
Really?
To be honest with you, not really.
Jason Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jason Todd becomes Robin, he dies, he's gone for a bunch of years, he comes back as Red Robin. That's pretty much it. Like, there's not that much. Like, there's stories with Jason Todd, but
maybe we'll look it up. Red Hood, and we'll do Red Hood, and
maybe we could do Tim Drake and Jason Todd in one episode.
Well, that's an idea. It could also give us a better focus on some of the not as well known villains. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Red Hood's probably not just always fighting the Joker and Two-Face.
No, as a matter of fact, Red Hood is more of the Punisher.
Yeah, it might be cool just to kind of look down that.
Yeah. Okay, so next week is between Fantastic Four and Captain America.
Got it. Following week will be Dick Grayson.
Yep.
And following week to be decided.
Yep.
The following, so we could do Fantastic Four or Captain America next week, then Dick Grayson, then whichever one we didn't do happens after that.
Right. All right. Throw it up to a vote here, and we'll let the fans decide. Captain America or Family of 4.
Yeah.
All right, guys, get your votes in over the next few weeks, or well, I guess the next week here, until we go live again next Saturday. You can enter who you want to see on any of our media platforms now while we're live for the next few minutes, or on our YouTube once we go up. Hit us up on Instagram or Twitter. We'll check all our stuff, or you can just send us an email directly. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 23, season 2. And we'll be back next week.
Coming up on our YouTube on Monday is our Hal Jordan episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday will be the Hulk.
All right. So tune in for those. Those are some big hitters.
Speaking of which, should we do Dick Grayson in 2 weeks? Or should we do the part 2 of Green Lantern?
Could always do Green Lantern. Alright, we'll put Dick on the back burner for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've done research, we've done reference to Dick Grayson. We've done more references to Green Arrow.
We did cover Dick Grayson a little bit in that Titans episode.
Yeah, he's gotten his show. Yeah, he's gotten a little bit of spotlight already.
Yeah.
We're better to keep going down the wormhole of Lanterns.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be like a part 1 through 5 here.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, there's just too much.
Just too much to do. But yeah, we'll have that episode of, what'd you say, Green Lantern and Hulk up on Monday. So check us out on YouTube, subscribe, follow, like, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Take care.